Good evening and welcome to the NewsHour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, tonight we start our show with big breaking news coming in. A comedy act is now triggering a legal storm in Andhra Pradesh. A Hyderabad-based stand-up comedian, Anudeep Katikala, has been arrested by the Andhra police while he was out for a walk with his father in UP's Prayagraj. The reason? Making derogatory and insulting comments against Andhra Pradesh's Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan, if the police in the state are to be believed. All right, and we have some breaking updates coming in on the story. We have spoken to the Kakinada SP. He's spoken exclusively to Times Now and shared inside details of the comedian's arrest. Now, the stand-up comedian Anudeep has been booked by Kakinada's one-town police for making derogatory remarks against Andhra Pradesh Deputy CM Pawan Kalyan. He has also commented about his ex-wife and his niece, and a complaint has been filed for making derogatory remarks on his personal life. He was taken into custody today and is expected to be produced before the court tomorrow, and he'll be sent to judicial custody. Outraging the modesty of women and the IT Act are amongst the charges that have been slapped against the accused in this case. So let's go right across to our reporters. We have Soumit joining us from Hyderabad. Anudeep joins us from Lucknow. Soumit, first take us through what exactly is the police saying about the offence committed by this particular accused, and also why they felt the need to send a team all the way to Uttar Pradesh.
Well, Madhav, see, Anudeep is a well-known stand-up comedian in the Hyderabad city, and he holds these programs in the Hyderabad city frequently. So in one such program, he has commented about Deputy CM Pawan Kalyan. His niece is also a Tollywood actor, Konidela Niharika, and also about his ex-wife, who was an actor earlier and a former actress. So, especially about because Pawan Kalyan went through 2 divorces. So he commented about his ex-wife and about the divorce process especially. And then later he commented about the Niharika's divorce process also. And basically he was making fun out of it. And after the video went viral on the social media platforms, immediately Janasena fans, because Pawan Kalyan has huge fan base when it comes to the youth across both the Telugu states and even in the other neighboring states. So immediately fans started attacking Anudeep and demanded stern action. And later because police have registered a case after local Janasena leaders in the Kakinada have approached the local police station, Town 1 police station in the Kakinada, and they have demanded that immediately action should be taken against the comedian Anudeep for making such derogatory comments on the personal life of the Andhra Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan, and also his niece and then his ex-wife. So after that, a case has been registered under 11 sections of VNS Act, and including the IT Act, and outraging the modesty of the woman has been booked against Anudeep. And the later police got to know that they have tracked him down to one of the districts in the Uttar Pradesh where he was with his family, and immediately 2 cops were sent to the Uttar Pradesh. From there, he was picked up. Today is what SP has confirmed.
And in fact, let's go across to Adeep, because Adeep, you have details of the police station limits in which he was picked up, and I believe he was with his father out on an evening walk when that particular arrest happened. Can you confirm the details to us?
Well, certainly, Madhav, see, the arrest happened at around 7 p.m. Last evening when the comedian Anudeep, he was out on a walk, on an evening walk with his father in a park in the Ganganagar area of Prayagraj. At that time, the police, the Kakinada police, they traced the mobile location of Anudeep and they traced him down in Prayagraj. They made the arrest. He was first taken to the local police station. He was kept in the local police station for quite some time. And after that, he was taken back with the officers of the Kakinada police all the way to Andhra Pradesh from a train in Prayagraj. Now, the local police have confirmed that he has been arrested from the Prayagraj. What we are learning from the sources is that he was picked up by the Andhra Pradesh police from the Ganganagar area of Prayagraj, and tomorrow he will be produced in a court in Andhra Pradesh for the derogatory remarks which the alleged derogatory remarks which he has made against the Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan.
All right, Adeep as well as Soumit, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us with those updates. It's a story that we're going to continue to track because of the political ramifications that it certainly has. But let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guests. With us is Dinkar Lanka, leader of the BJP. We have Dr. Kiran Chitla, senior leader of Janasena Party. Also with us is Karthik Yella Pragada, who's a national spokesperson of the YSRCP. Let me start with you first. Dr. Kiran Chitla, the question that many are asking at this point of time is that surely he must have made derogatory remarks, and it's not nice obviously to hear such remarks when there are comments made about family members, etc. I can understand why people would be outraged, why leaders of the Janasena would have given that complaint. But somewhere or the other, are we a little too oversensitive as a society? Because this is not the only case of a comedian who's had a brush with the law. There are multiple cases of artists, comedians, etc., cartoonists even, who have faced the ire of their of those who have they've written against or spoken against, politically speaking. Dr. Kiran Chitla.
Yeah, it's true. One more thing is many people are writing various things on various politicians or any famous cricketer or any other media people are like that. Unfortunately, they are trying to target, especially regarding this particular case in Pawan Kalyan. He is a deputy CM of the state, and he had a very good influence in the national level also. So that's why the upcoming media people like the comedians or any actors or any other media people, they are trying to target him and his family members. If it is from any of the people who are in in politics, if they are using their family members and they are trying to bully them and all those things, it is unfortunate.
I think we lost that line there. We'll try and reconnect with him in a moment. But Karthik, would you like to respond to that? He says it's unfortunate that those who are upcoming, persons and media personalities often target very popular figures in their bid to perhaps, gain more stardom. And he believes that is perhaps happening in this case. How do you respond to that, Karthik?
Hey, hi. Thanks for having me in the show. You got to allow me a little time here. I want to, give a sort of an opinion. So be it a comedian, so be it an actor, so be it whosoever it is, anyone who's making a derogatory remarks on any politician, we condemn that. So we want to grow above politics in here. So whoever it is, we're condemning it, right? Having said that, the center of the conversation in Andhra Pradesh is law and order a relative to only a selective individuals is a big question that we have to ask. You raised an important point at the beginning, actually, because it's just not about the comedians. For instance, in the recent past, many have made derogatory remarks. All of that is bad. Having said that, if this is a benchmark, you see Mr. Naidu, for instance, openly telling that to Mr. Modi at certain point that he's a terrorist. I have it on record, right? He claimed that, Mr. Modi is a terrorist. However, BJP and TDP are in coalition. And also, same Mr. Kalyan has openly come out and told that his mother was derogated to
But Karthik, I would beg to differ a little bit on that comment, simply because, it's political opposition. Here, the bigger issue is free speech and the free speech of those who are creative persons, whether they are artists, whether they are actors, whether they're filmmakers, or whether they're comedians in this particular case. And I think there's a slightly different context over there, because politicians will continue to fight it out, use coarse language against each other. That's a completely different debate. Over here, what we're talking about is what artists, and when they use their creative abilities to put out certain things, and obviously there will be criticism that will come their way.
And our question is why it is always selective. Because, for instance, today, the General Secretary of Media for YSRCP has been taken away into custody as a terrorist without giving proper reason, showing BNS 11, and until 4-5 hours, we don't know where is he. Okay. And is that selective? That's the question that we're asking.
Let me put that question to Dinkar Lanka. Yeah, I've understood your question. Dinkar Lanka, respond to him. He says, or he's asking a question about whether there's selective interpretation of law when it comes to free speech and when it comes to, criticism, because he says his own party members are being targeted unfairly. That's the charge of ISRCP. Please respond.
Absolutely wrong. It is nothing but YSRCP like a devil's advocate. The language, abusive language usage is the patent right for the YSRCP. But as far as this debate is concerned, it is very clear that just because of having freedom of speech, you can't speak as per your whims and fancies to target the individuals and individual families and individual personalities with derogatory language by usage of derogatory language. Today we see that the jokes which have been promoted by a film star Anudeep has become a tragedy. Today he is facing the tragedy. He is facing music because of unwanted language which used with various film actors. I'm not speaking about politics in it like YSRCP. Then you see that a series of his comments which made against Chiranjeevi family as well as Balakrishna, Mahesh Babu, Junior NTR, and so on. Series of it becomes as a habit for him, is modus operandi to grab the attention of the general public using this kind of derogatory language on film stars and famous personalities. Definitely, such people should be get penalized, and they should be they should teach. But such kind of people should be teach a lesson, and such kind of things should not be get promoted.
Okay.
But
those who make defamatory statements will have to face the law. Such kind of behavior should not be tolerated, and there has to be legal action against such individuals. This is the view of Dinkar Lanka. Respond to him.
Madhav, very onset, thank you so much for having me on the show. Good evening to you, to all my fellow panelists and to all my viewers. The fact of the matter is that we are a country that lives on hurt sentiments. Everybody's sentiments get hurt. And today I was in your sister organization's office and I was saying, what can we joke about? We can't joke about politicians. We can't joke about news anchors. I don't mean you, Madhav. We can't joke about religious figures. We can't joke about scientists. We can't joke about some community. Everybody keeps getting hurt. Now, Pawan Kalyan is what he's doing is totally bullying and misusing of power. Look, if he's so hurt, file a defamation case. I understand that, and the courts can decide that. And that should be a civil defamation case. To send the police all the way to Prayagraj to grab this guy, to get him back, as if crime is completely ended in Andhra Pradesh. And the police also should be ashamed of themselves. I am saying this, I'm absolutely responsible to all these officers. You guys fall down and get bullied by politicians. You guys are officers of the state. Your loyalty should be to the Constitution of India. File a complaint. He wants to file a defamation complaint, let the court act upon it. Why are you filing extra charges that won't be attainable in court, then harassing common citizens? Is this the job of cops? Have all the crimes in Andhra Pradesh stopped? Have women not being today, are women not suffering in Andhra Pradesh? Are there not other crimes in Andhra Pradesh? For police to do this, I hope that DGP Andhra Pradesh is watching this. He should be ashamed and embarrassed. This is how you behave? Okay, he's a comedian. I also didn't like the joke. I'll be honest, I didn't like the joke. But what kind of behavior it is? Then there was another politician who broke down a stand-up club because some other comedian cracked jokes about him in Maharashtra. Where will this end? Where does this end? If you don't like a news channel, say you don't like this debate, you're free to change the channel. Say you don't like a work of piece of art, you're free to walk out of the gallery. This idea of one, vandalizing, two, politicians using state machinery to bully people must end. And I hope the courts come down. The courts should take suo motu cognizance and hold these officers responsible for bowing down to the politicians. What sort of business are they doing?
Kiran Chitla, I'd like you to respond to that. And I think Tehseen has one important point when he says, what is the urgency to send police to another state to arrest this individual? One can understand the urgency if it is some heinous murder has been committed, if it's a terrorist act or some other brutal crime has been done. In this case, a person has cracked a joke, a very distasteful joke. I will add at that. But is there really a need to send police to another state to arrest this individual?
Yeah. Pawan Kalyan Garu himself has made a complaint in the Delhi High Court in January 2026 about his personal rights, protection rights. So if anybody is going on harming and going on irritating the family members, what a person can do? I really understand what the political analyst has said, but unfortunately, he is becoming targeted again and again and again. So how the family members will go out to the public, how the family members will react to all those things. So it is not that much easy for them to get into the normal life. They have their own personal life. They have their own issues. So the public and the people like these people, like standing comedians or any other people, they just can't go on going on trolling him or just defamating him. All these are not right at all. So it is mandatory that it is already a case is filed and they know that the consequences are, what is the legal actions that can be taken. So what is the law is there for, BNS is there for getting the actual treatment. So there is nothing wrong in sending the police to the particular place.
All right. Political reactions are coming in. In fact, this is the response coming in as far as the apology is concerned. In fact, this is the comedian who's apologized. He said that it wasn't my intention to cause harm. Intention was to question the toxic fan culture. That's the statement that's coming in from this individual. But I'd like to bring in, of course, Kapil Madan on that note. Kapil Madan, there was already a case. And even if somebody is a deputy chief minister, at the end of the day, their family life, their personal life is something, and their relatives should be beyond this kind of joke is the point coming in. You can criticize the leader, but is it fair to drag in the family members is a question that's being asked.
So Madhav, I totally agree with what my good friend Tehseen has said. I think he has, spoke very eloquently on the subject. We may not agree with the joke. That joke may be in bad taste, but that does not give you a reason to use the law enforcement agencies as a tool of intimidation. Now, today, what problem, does the state law and order have? Imagine the kind of resources the police authorities have spent on this. Someone has cracked a joke and, a full, battalion of police goes interstate and arrest that person there. Imagine the time judiciary will spend on these kind of cases. We all know our system, how much pressure do we have on our system. We all know what is the crime rate, what is the national rate. Hold on.
Similarly from all states, even in opposition rule states. I'm not going to say that give the opposition a free pass on this one. It has happened in West Bengal. It has happened in Congress rule states also.
Madhav, let me just say it is an apolitical view. I am not pinpointing this basis the political contours of that particular state. I am making this as a apolitical statement. They should be treated alike for all the states. Now imagine if cracking joke is such a big problem that you will have to send people to arrest interstate, etc. Why don't you, debate, what kind of jokes? Because Tehseen has raised a very valid point. Today, the most important thing, it appears, for our politician is to see who's cracking which joke, not the crime against the woman, not the, crime, money laundering offenses, not, the other kind of heinous offenses, not, the other kind of law and order issues in the state. The problem the politician has is because what happens is the politician, they feel that this entire state machinery is their personal battalion. That's what we are seeing. We've seen it in, Himanta Biswa Sharma's case, where a politician makes a remark. You may not, if you have any problems, there is a process of civil defamation. You go to the court.
No, Kapil Madan, let's not even begin to compare the two. This is a comedian, putting out a political criticism. That is a totally different case. Where the charge against Mr. Pawan Khera is that he has, falsified certain documents. At least that's what the BJP is claiming. So this is why I want to keep this very clear and made this distinction even not only to you, Kapil, but even to the YSRCP spokesperson, that there is a difference between political fighting out, and free speech in that context, as well as those of artists and creative freedom. I want to draw a very, very clear distinction to that. But there's some breaking news coming in. In fact, the political war of words is only escalating on the matter. This is the Andhra BJP, which has slammed comedian Anudeep, saying that it's unacceptable and appreciates the Kakinada police for taking stringent action. Listen in.
This issue is not about comedy or freedom of expression. It is about the responsibility. As a stand-up comedian, he should have to have that minimum responsibility and respect. And particularly when we spoke about the family members, especially about the women and all, it is not at all acceptable. The law taking its own course in this matter sends a very clear message that such irresponsible behavior will not be tolerated in the society. As a BJP, we strongly condemn these remarks made by Anudeep and stand firmly for maintaining the decency, culture values and respect in public discourse.
Today, we are witnessing in Andhra Pradesh how the police misusing their power and resorting to illegal detentions. This is not an isolated incident. Such arbitrary arrests are going across the state in Andhra Pradesh. Police appearing to be implementing the Red Book governance, whether it may be a comedian, whether it may be a journalist, whether it may be a political leader. Suppression of the voice of dissent is the only modus of operandi of this existing coalition government. So we strongly condemn the blatant misuse of police power and continued erosion of constitutional rights.
All right, so those are two reactions coming in of the BJP and the YSRCP, of course, diametrically opposite views. But I'd like to bring in Killa Yella Prakada on that. How do you respond to the BJP who says that this comedian has very, very clearly crossed the line? Karthik.
Well, we're saying if he's crossed the line, let the judicial due process kick in. I completely agree with what Tehseen has told. I loved every point he's made. The point here is this needs the nation's attention. I'll give some numbers into perspective. 2,466 people got arrested on social media, 720 on other crimes. with vendetta, 300 plus women and children abuses, about 18 journalists got attacked. None of that is important. And now they go all over to the other state and then pick a person. Why there is misuse of power? Even today, I want to make this into a nation's attention. Srihari Pudi is a general secretary for media. Without any reason, he's been taken into custody. We're asking, why is that? Why the governance, law and order is working in favor of a selective set of individuals? That's the whole question we're asking. And then I understand your point. It's just not only about a comedian. The point is broader in Andhra Pradesh, where there is a selective vendetta is happening in the state of Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
Now, I've just
you made that point, but let me bring in Dinkar Lanka on a simple point. Dinkar Lanka, the fact is that Mr. Pawan Kalyan is not just the Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. He's also an immensely popular figure. He has his fans, of course, in the Janasena, who are largely his fans due to his role on celluloid, due to the fact that he's a film actor. Surely, being a much-loved celebrity, he should be able to take a little bit of criticism on his chin.
It is absolutely wrong. As far as Anudeep is concerned, he is not confined alone to the Pawan Kalyan. List of the various cine actors he targeted, there are a huge number of big personalities have been targeted with his jokes. It is a shame on the part of those people who give support to such kind of people. It is absolutely not. There is no selective arrest. If there is a selective arrest, means whoever they made crime on the Chief Minister, Chandrababu Naidu Garu, Double Engine Sarkar acting firmly of illegitimate act. If YSRCP attacks, if they want to support such kind of people, here the government is not ready for it. Let you compare 2019-24, what happened? Now what is happening? What is the law and order position in Andhra Pradesh? We never tolerate such kind of incidents. There is no isolated and individual targeted arrests are happening.
Mr.
It is absolutely wrong way the debate is diverting by YSRCP leaders.
Can I ask you a straight question, Mr.
It is very clear.
Recent past, is my voice audible? In the recent past, I'll ask you a straight question, sir. I'll ask you a straight question. Answer this. If the derogatory remarks are honest, so let me ask you a question. Take my question, sir. Don't evade. My question is, in the recent past.
Okay, let him ask you a question. He's putting a question across to you. Yes.
So if derogatory remarks is a benchmark, right? In the very recent past, not less than a week, a news channel starting with letter A, for an instance, one of the biggest channels in Andhra Pradesh, they openly told that YSRCP people, we don't know the difference between sisters and wives. Isn't that a derogatory remark? And where is the action against that chairman? Why there is a selective behavior, sir?
Okay, you asked the question and let him respond. Dinkar Lanka.
Very simple, sir. Where was the action against him?
Through the social media of YSRCP.
Okay, let me bring in some other panelists now. Let me put this question across. Gentlemen, just one second. Let's not have this cross fight. Let's quickly bring in other panelists as well who are waiting very patiently. There are a number of aspects of this which are quite curious. And I want to ask you, Tehseen, 2 or 3 specific examples. Whether we're talking about Asim Trivedi in Maharashtra, where there was a Congress government, whether we're talking about Ambikesh Mahapatra, who was arrested in West Bengal for sharing a cartoon of Mamta Banerjee. The point is that, is this outrage selective? Was the outrage as much in such cases as well?
Yes, in Asim Trivedi's case, though I'm a Congress vote, I must put that out. I was myself on Times Now, it was then done by another person, criticizing the then Police Commissioner Satyapal Singh and the Congress government for doing this. All politicians, all political parties want power, misuse power, abuse power. But I want to explain something to viewers of Times Now. There's a very misleading statement said on your show right now. It said, the statement was correct to the extent that actor Pawan Kalyan has gone to Delhi High Court to protect his personality rights. So is actor Amitabh Bachchan and various other personalities. Now, Kapil here is a lawyer. This does not prevent you from defamation. What that means is I cannot commercially use Pawan Kalyan or Amitabh Bachchan or whoever goes for promoting my brand or, for example, AI-generated deepfakes, etc. That is that protection. Please understand, that does not, for example, that does not mean, Madhav, you cannot criticize Pawan Kalyan because his name is protected by Delhi High Court. What sort of logic are we talking about? But again. I get it that the joke was bad. I get it that Pawan Kalyan's family or friends, fans actually have no right, but his friends may have been, or his wife may have been offended, his ex-wife, or he may have been offended with that joke. I completely get that, and therefore they decided to go to court. That defamation can be civil. It doesn't have to be criminal. And again, my problem as much with the police as with the judiciary to allow this to happen, to allow taxpayers, yours and my money to be used this way, and to allow politicians to become bullies. Politicians are becoming bullies. This is unacceptable. We celebrated Baba Sahib Ambedkar's birth anniversary yesterday. The first 3 words of the Constitution are "we the people," not I the politician who will hold the police accountable and send them chasing me like a private vigilante army. That's unacceptable.
Okay, Kiran, you've been a little economical with the truth, because the actual application of that order is not quite in terms of the implications that you meant. And it certainly does not mean that people can't criticize the person concerned. In this case, it's Pawan Kalyan. Respond to Tehseen.
Yeah, that is what I am coming to the point. The most important thing we need to understand is, at least if we get one person get arrested, the rest of the people who are making the unnecessary comments or unnecessary bullying of the people, they will stop it once they know the consequences. So maybe the police have taken it into that kind of a charge.
But does that mean this is a chilling effect on free speech also, sir? That's the other way of looking at what you're saying.
It doesn't mean that if you have a freedom of speech, it doesn't mean that you just need to enter into their families and you just need to point out about their personal life and about their divorce and feminist kind of words about their wives and all those things. These are not the right things to talk about, right?
Feminist words should not be used, you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
What is the problem with using feminist words?
Ram Charan is a feminist. That's why he married to Upasana, because she's a rich woman. That's what he said. So that kind of a comments, which are really bad. And he is talking not only about the Pawan Kalyan, he spoke about his niece, Niharika also. Niharika, he spoke that she also took divorce. Divorce is a common thing. Nowadays, divorce is happening like anything in the world.
No, to an extent,
so
I think you have a point to the extent. And I think everyone on the other side has also criticized, saying that it's in very poor taste. And let me bring in Kapil Madan on that note. Kapil Madan, free speech is not an absolute right in India. There are certain reasonable restrictions which you as a lawyer very well know. And you cross the line when you get into, person's divorced life, personal life, so on, and various family members, things which are not at all required, is what the Janasena is very clearly saying over here. Your response to that?
So, Madhav, if I speak as a lawyer, I can tell you this thing with utmost responsibility, that there may be certain things which may be inconvenient. There may be certain things that may not be inappropriate, that may not be in good taste, but that will still fall short of calling it as an offense, right? If someone has said something, if it falls under the definition of obscenity, of course, yes, you can prosecute that person for the offense of causing obscenity. However, if you test the definition of obscenity in terms of our criminal laws, this is nowhere near of calling something as big as obscene. Insofar as defamation is concerned, if you are really aggrieved by the fact that someone has basically made comments which are in bad taste on your personal life, of course, you have your remedies of civil defamation. You can go in the courts and seek damages. Also, you can file a criminal complaint alleging defamation, because in India, defamation is also a criminal offense. But let me tell you, defamation, for the benefit of our viewers, it's a non-cognizable offense, which means police does not have any role. Police does not investigate whether someone has caused any defamation to other side or not. You will have to go to the concerned magistrate, produce your all evidence, and you will have to prosecute the other person. Police has absolutely zero role in the case of defamation.
Kiran, respond to that.
So having
is this misuse of the police as is being suggested here by Kapil?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. Basically, I'm a doctor. But what I have seen is the acts, what they have kept is BNS 356 2 and BNS 353 2 and IT 76. All these are comes under defamation and spreading rumors and defaming in the media, social media. So if a person complaint was raised in the police station, the police has did their job, and we are trying to point out that why the police are so enthusiastic to do all those kind of a work. That is what the media, the political analysts are saying. If they didn't do it, they will say that why they have neglected even after the FIR was filed. So maybe they can file a case in the magistrate. They can file a case in the magistrate, but they filed a case and the FIR is filed. So they did their job. So there is nothing wrong in thinking about why they has to go there and why they has to pick them up and why they has to bring it back to Kakinada and why they has to do arrest and all those things in a rush way. Because if one person is get proper treatment, the rest of the people will stop.
Well, there are multiple ways of looking at that. It could also be seen as intimidation, sir. Certainly, of course, nobody should cross the line when it comes to personal lives of individuals. But at the end of the day, when it comes to free speech also, there are some very valid concerns because it's not only restricted to this current episode in Andhra, but the various instances that we've seen across the country. Leaving it there, Dinakar Lanka, Dr. Kiran Chitla, Karthik Yellapragada, Tehseen Poonawala and Advocate Kapil Madan, thanks so much for joining us.